Good morning, gentlemen. Hello. You know Łukasz. We'll talk to Kamil in a moment. And what will we talk about today? What do we have here? Jaguar? F-Pace? And under the hood? 2.0 diesel. Engine from the Ingenium family. How often do you repair it? Really? Surely. That's not a good engine, is it? This is a bad engine. Even more so in the bi-turbo version. We have a single turbo 180 horses, 160 and 180. And 2.0 biturbo is 240 horses. Damn, it's so nice to drive engine. Not necessarily in a large SUV like the F-Pace, but in the XE, this is a fantastic car. Well, it's a much lighter car. Yes, it is very pleasant to drive. The only problem is that you won't be able to drive it for long. Please, let's talk about the most extreme cases. What was the lowest mileage you received for repair, if you remember, and you probably do? 32,000 kilometers, 20,000 miles. And what was the biggest mileage you've ever had? In this version? Well, there were some that were over 100,000 kilometers long, but after dismantling the engine, it turned out that the engine had already been replaced once under warranty. These single-turbo and bi-turbo engines are supposedly the same engines, but they are probably different, right? Because I saw a crankshaft on the shelf, and it was a crankshaft for the 240-horse version. The biturbo engine has a thicker crankshaft and a different diameter. Are cracking crankshafts a problem here? No, crankshafts practically do not break. So the damage to the crankshaft results from something else? Crankshafts are seizing, but the main problem is the tubes that wear out. All of them? Most often the first one. Where do we count from? Yes, from the front of the engine. Have you found out why these tubes are wearing out? Not completely. Do you have any suspicions? There is a theory that it is due to the EGR, which is close to the first cylinder, but the fourth cylinder also often seizes and wears out. So the second and third cylinders are in good condition? They are in top condition. The first one is always in the worst condition. Often it is the only one that is damaged. The second and third are okay.
Powiedz mi jeszcze proszę, bo dwulitrowa benzyna, to zresztą z Bartkiem żeśmy to rozbierali w moim F-Type'ie któregoś dnia. Znaczy rozbierali, no tak patrzyli.
Please tell me one more thing. We recently looked at the 2.0 petrol engine in my Jaguar F-Type, and there is a multi-air system, like in Fiat, electro-hydraulic valve control. Is it the same here?
Czy to tutaj też jest? Nie.
No, only in petrol.
To są zwykłe hydropopychacze i nic poza tym.
And so, the most common failure is a wearing sleeve, plus seizure of the crankshaft. Why does the crankshaft seize? And why is it blocked with 3.0 diesel? But you see, it often happens that when the liner on the first cylinder is worn, the crankshaft is also worn. Maybe it's starting to work. So we don't know for sure. Are there any other major failures here? Have you ever opened an engine that was stuck and the cylinder liners were fine? No. They are never okay.
Nigdy nie są w porządku.
Czy z biegiem lat, bo przecież to już nie jest nowy silnik, on ma 7-8 lat.
This is no longer a new engine. It appeared in 2015. Have you noticed that the factory has somehow improved this engine over the years? That the cylinder liners in 2016 models are more worn, and in 2020 cars less? The only difference we noticed is that they improved the timing gear. Were there any problems with it before? Yes. Previously, the timing gear was simply made of steel. Now it has a vibration damper. It doesn't wear out, it doesn't break the gears, there are no more problems with it.
Bo to jest nadwozie samonośne oczywiście.
Okay, it's not a frame-based structure like in Discovery, it's a self-supporting body, aluminum cups as I see it. Is removing the engine from this car a big problem?
Nie, no
No.
Po prostu górą czy dołem?
górą.
Górą.
Up or down? Up. No problem. So you have to remove the bumper and radiator? No, we're not touching anything here. We don't even touch the fans. We disassemble the windshield wipers. We put the cover on. The only difficulty is unfastening the suspension.
Ma taką drugą pozycję, tak? Czy...
Nie, rozpinamy, podnosimy ją tyle po prostu, na ile to jest możliwe i mieści się. No jedyne utrudnienie to
We
jest
have to remove the
zawieszenie,
axle shafts.
dopięcie zawieszenia, bo musimy wyjąć półosie.
The differential is bolted to the oil pan. The axle shafts pass through the oil pan. Is the differential bolted to the oil pan? Yes. In Jaguar, F-Pace, in Range Rover Velar, in Jaguar XF. And then, unfortunately, we dismantle the suspension.
I wtedy niestety dochodzi zawieszenie.
Łukasz, czy jest jakaś taka złota myśl?
Łukasz, do you have any golden idea? After hundreds of repaired engines, that, for example, don't drive faster than 100 km/h, it may not break. Change the oil every 3,000 kilometers.
To się nie popsuje. Wymieniaj olej co 3000 km.
Yes, maybe not every 3,000, but don't stick to the manufacturer's recommendations. The manufacturer's recommendation is 34,000 kilometers, so do it every 10,000, every 12,000 kilometers. Exactly.
Czyli robić to co 10, co 12 tysięcy.
Dokładnie.
A spotykaliście się z takimi silnikami, które... Znaczy na pewno się spotykaliście z takimi silnikami, że ktoś przyjeżdżał, laweta
Have you ever encountered cases where the owner said that he took great care of the car and changed the oil often?
Wiesz co, kurde, rzadko ludzie się raczej, że tak powiem, do swojego inaczej.
It is rare that people do not follow the recommendations of the service manual.
A wręcz ostatnio
It's rather the opposite. Recently we had a client who had forgotten a bit. This was a petrol engine and the last oil change was over 80,000 previously.
bez wymiany oleju.
No niezły ziomeczek. Na czym polega naprawa?
What is engine repair in your workshop?
Na czym polega naprawa? Więc tak.
We replace all cylinder liners. They are all new. Even if the second and third are okay, we replace them. All four.
Tolerancji, to i tak idą nowe. Z automatu wszystkie 4.
We convert the pistons to a wider oil ring. The oil ring is 1.5 millimeter wide.
Pierścień olejowy ma tam 1,5 mm. To jest...
After removing it, you can braid it.
Olejowy dosłownie możesz warkoczek z niego.
It is not good? No.
To nie jest dobre, nie?
Nie.
Znaczy to, powiedzmy, że możemy spróbować tutaj znaleźć właśnie ten rozwiązanie problemu, zbyt cienki pierścień olejowy.
Do
Myślę,
you
że to
think
ma
this
wpływ
thin
na
oil
to,
ring can
że
cause engine failure?
Raczej nie.
Nie powinno,
ale,
okej.
I don't think so,
wiesz, one
but they are
stoją,
too thin.
Stają, są cienkie, no.
Okej.
Odkształcają się. No.
So you are converting pistons.
Tak.
Yes,
Dostają grubsze pierścienie.
they get thicker oil rings.
Co dalej?
Then if the
No,
crankshaft is
wiadomo,
seized,
jak
we try to replace it with a new OEM one.
Staramy się na oryginałach składać, chyba że życzenie klienta, szlif.
Unless the customer wishes to install a
Staramy
replacement.
się gdzieś tam na nominalnych wałach to składać. No wiadomo,
Plus,
nowa
a new
pompa
oil
oleju,
pump.
pompy oleju
To be more
strasznie się
precise,
zużywają.
a vacuum pump.
Może nie tyle pompa oleju, co pompa wakum, bo to jest zespolone.
They are combined, oil pump and vacuum pump. They can get stuck. And interesting fact, this engine does not have an oil pressure indicator light.
Też taka ciekawostka, on nie ma kontrolki ciśnienia oleju. Wyświetla się, jeśli...
If the oil pump fails, the message low oil level is displayed. The driver stops and checks the oil level, and since it's okay, he keeps going. And in a moment, it ends as it ends.
No i za chwilę kończy się, jak się kończy.
Czy jest właśnie...
I'm driving a Jaguar or a Range Rover Evoque. I think the Discovery 5 had a 2.0 diesel as well. Even in the Range Rover Sport, this is already paranoia. Is there a moment when the engine sound changes just before a failure? Because if there is no oil pressure indicator, it is difficult to know that something is wrong.
Czujesz, że to się zaraz źle skończy. Czy jest jakiś taki moment, jedziesz sobie takim samochodem, jedziesz i nie wiem, od klientów na przykład słyszeliście, że tak właśnie mi się wydawało, że się delikatnie zmienił dźwięk silnika albo cokolwiek. No bo jak nie ma kontrolki ciśnienia oleju, no to faktycznie to jest masakra, nie?
Jacek, też nie oszukujmy się, wytartą tulejesz.
Jacek, let's not kid ourselves. A worn cylinder liner can be heard. You can hear it. There is a slight knocking sound. Some immediately seek help, and others are going. Something's going wrong there, but they're on their way.
Po prostu jadą, no coś tam nie tak chodzi, no ale pal licho.
How much more will those who constantly drive pay? You should ask Bartek. More because we have to buy a new crankshaft.
Aha. Czyli jak silnik stoi,
If
to
the engine
najczęściej
locks
stoi na
up,
wale, czy
does it
to
lock
może
up on the
być tak
crankshaft or on the cylinder
na
liner?
wale.
On crankshaft.
Jak są dziwne dźwięki,
If you hear strange sounds, do not drive. Call Bartek. Don't ride, because it will end with more expenses.
Większymi stratami i większymi kosztami.
Kamil, a new face in our show. Hello, please tell me, do you like taking out these engines? Very. Why? Pleasant work, fast, and it's a well-thought-out car, easy to work with. So this is a well-designed engine,
Dobrze zaprojektowany motor, poza jedną rzeczą,
well designed to pull out, except for failures.
jakimś tam problemem technicznym, który ciągle...
awariami.
Słucham?
I awariami.
No tak, i awariami.
Since you are the main remover of 2.0 diesel engines, how long does it take you?
Głównym rozbieraczem silników 2.0 diesel.
To zależy, czy
If we have rear-wheel drive, it will take about 3 to 4 hours. If we have four-wheel drive, about 4 to 5 hours. We have four-wheel drive here? Yes. So we'll do an autopsy in 4 hours? Is the engine blocked? Yes.
To wychodzi, jak jest napęd na tył, no to 3-4 godziny, tutaj no to 4-5.
How much time do you need to take the engine
A
apart?
ile czasu potrzebujesz jeszcze, żeby silnik rozebrać na części?
No to tak z wyjęciem.
Nie, jak już masz silnik wyjęty...
An hour and a half? 2? With washing everything?
Okej. Czyli to
So
tak
quite
w miarę
clever.
sprytnie, w miarę sprytnie.
Okay,
No dobra,
I see here we have 2 turbochargers. Yes, so that's 240 horsepower.
A jaki jest przebieg tego
What is the mileage of this car? 99,000 kilometers.
I to niewykluczone, że... Kamil, to ja ci w takim razie...
Camille,
życzę
I wish you good
powodzenia.
luck.
To
We'll see you when the engine is pulled out.
Zobaczymy się, jak będzie to wszystko już wyciągnięte.
One more
A
question.
jeszcze
You
jedno
said it's
pytanie.
nicely designed.
Bo mówisz, że to jest fajnie zaprojektowane. Czy to... Masz tu takie poczucie...
Is it that to remove this engine you need basic tools? Wrenches size 13, 18, 21?
Okej, fajnie faktycznie zostało to wszystko przemyślane, że na przykład nie muszę ciągle biegać po nowe narzędzia, że wystarczą tam na przykład, nie wiem, 13, 18, bo te brytyjskie lubią 18, 13, 18, 21, coś tam i wyciągnięte, czy
All keys will fit in one pocket.
Klucze wsadzić.
w kieszeń kluczy?
In one
Okej.
pocket?
To dobrze. Dobra.
Okay, go ahead. Good luck.
Dziękuję.
Co?
No
Bez
problems?
problemów?
Well, without the slightest problems.
Okej.
And I understand that he is standing, right? So he is blocked, and at the moment we don't know what is wrong with
Nie
him.
wiadomo, co mu jest.
I'm betting on a rotated bearing. And that's why it's blocked. And the bearing could have turned because the engine sleeve was worn out?
I je zjadło.
Najprawdopodobniej.
Most likely.
Okej, no dobra. Faktycznie górą widzę, że...
Okay, you did take it out from the top. I see the subframe is still there. Was it four-wheel drive?
To był napęd na 4 koła?
Tak.
Yes.
Tutaj jest
It's hidden here. It's bolted to the oil pan and the axle shafts go through it.
Półłaśki przez nią.
Okej.
Baby,
Maleństwo.
yes.
Tak.
Maleństwo.
Okay, listen,
No dobra.
what's your next
Słuchaj, to
task
jakie
now?
jest twoje kolejne zadanie teraz?
No rozbieramy go.
We're taking it apart to diagnose it. How long will it take you?
Około 1,5 godziny.
About an hour and a half.
Albo godzinę.
An hour.
No nawet 3
An hour and a half?
może być bez mycia.
Or an hour.
Okej.
It might be even quicker now because we don't wash it. Was it wet
Czy
anywhere?
on był gdzieś,
Any
jakieś
leaks?
wycieki,
Sweat?
zapocenia, coś znalazłeś?
Did you find anything?
Właśnie patrzę, że...
Yes, here.
Z czego to się...
The plug. From this place?
Ale
Yes.
przecież jest napisane...
But it was tested. Łukasz, we just talked off camera for a moment and we were talking about these cars.
I tak gadaliśmy o tych samochodach, gadaliśmy...
Although I already had the camera hidden, so let's repeat this conversation a bit. Have you noticed that when the engine is longitudinally, it breaks down more often than when the engine is transversely?
To znaczy,
Well, maybe not so much more often, but it wears out the sleeves more that way, so it ends faster. They end faster, yes.
Szybciej się kończy.
szybciej się kończą. No.
Transverse engines. Transverse, these sleeves are probably minimally worn.
Okej.
Okay, and what kind of failure do they come with? Seized engine. Seized on the crankshaft. Just like that. Some broken timing belt also happens sometimes, but usually seized.
Czyli tak, silnik...
So the engine will be longitudinally when we have rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive by default. We have a transverse engine when we have front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive by default. So this is Discovery Sport. Exactly. Or Evoque. Exactly. And Jaguar E-Pace, right? Yes. The small one. In the smaller ones, the engine is transverse, because there it was rather difficult to fit the engine lengthwise there too. One more interesting fact. Do you know what the normal operating temperature of this engine is? If it is biturbo? On the motorway, when we accelerate from 110 to 140, it is 130 degrees. 130 degrees is the coolant temperature. Yes. So if we poured water on it, we would have... No, well, you can pour tea on it. Aha. With a single turbo one, it has those 10-15 degrees lower there. It is still high, but it is still over 100. Yes. When we did the first one, Bartek went for a test drive. Well, you know, preview, live data, what temperatures. Well, there was panic with the first engine. We didn't know what was wrong. Water pump, we replaced it. Thermostat, we replaced it. Even a 1 degree change. Only then some phone calls, some searching. They have it like that. Thermostat opens at 115 degrees. Incredible. Maybe because the biturbo has a liquid-cooled turbine. One turbine doesn't have that. But these are really high temperatures. These are already values that are a bit unpleasant, more like motorcycle values, right? Honestly, I remember that. I had it in some motorcycle too. I was so surprised that it was over 90. But in motorcycles you don't have 130 degrees. Well, yes. So don't drive on the highway at too high a speed.
Dobrze, czyli tak, nie jeździć autostradą.
No, that's a joke. I mean, this is the moment of acceleration. When you level off, you'll catch that 140, that highway speed. That temperature there will go down to those 120, 115. It's still a lot. Well, you know, just like normally you usually have 90 in the middle, right? On the gauge. But here the indicator is always in the middle. You won't notice it on the indicator, on the dashboard. But there are no readings. 50, 90, 130. Never mind. Honestly, laughter. It's perfectly vertical. Okay, so for the driver, for the user, this is the ideal temperature, right? Okay, amazing thing. Okay, gentlemen, in that case, I wish you good luck. And I'll see you when it's all disassembled. You threatened to come with a diameter gauge. Well, we'll check how much of this wear there is, whether it's 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter. Sure. Because we didn't look, it could be different. Have you already measured? Yes, I've already measured with my finger, and there is 0.7 of a millimeter difference between the first and the second.
Pomiędzy pierwszym a drugim.
And the first and fourth are similar, and the second and third are not.
I pierwszy i czwarty mają podobnie, a drugi i trzeci nie mają.
No nie ma
It's not a tragedy.
0,5 milimetra.
half a millimeter. Half a millimeter without 200s. 0,48 wear.
0,48 gdzieś zużycia. O, ten tylko
This one only
500
500s
zużycia.
wear.
Prawie nominał.
Almost nominal value.
Mówię, no tutaj pół milimetra.
Well, here half a millimeter.
Ale nie jest
It's not the worst.
najgorszy.
A
And
dwójkę,
2,
trójkę?
3.
Podejdziesz?
Will you come closer? Will you turn it a little?
I dobra, starczy.
Okay, that's enough.
600
600s.
i 5.
Setek.
And 5.
Czyli
Hundreds.
6, 5.
So 6, 5, and here it was probably 5, right?
takiego.
No,
Something like that.
Czyli te trzy do
Yes.
zaakceptowania,
So these
to
three are
już-
acceptable. The first one has half a millimeter. But we don't
Ale
see
nie
yet
widzimy
from
na
this
razie
sleeve
jeszcze po
that
tej
some
kolei,
tragedy
żeby
will
się
happen here.
wydarzyła jakaś tragedia.
Listen, are these sleeves with Nikasil? They are in some Porsches, if I remember correctly. In Cayenne, there were sleeves with
Były
Nikasil.
tuleje z jakimś tam dziwnym czymś tam.
Kasil, o, stoi dwa
Two blocks are standing there. And are these regular steel
To są
sleeves?
zwykłe stalowe tuleje, czy też...
Tutaj zwykłe.
Regular ones here?
Okej, ale też schrzanione.
Okay, but they also screwed up.
No też.
Yeah, right.
Resztki, panewki.
The remains of the bearing.
Ta lua, ta
They should be made of metal, I guess. And this one looks like it's made of paper, right?
No nie wiem, dawaj, odkręcaj.
Go
Zobaczymy,
ahead,
czy na
unscrew
innych
it.
nie,
Let's see
ale-
the rest. So it got caught here, right?
Przyłapało, tak?
O, to nawet nie przyłapało.
So this bearing simply turned.
Czyli ta panewka się po prostu wzięła i obróciła.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Ona już nie istnieje. No, tam jest ok.
It's okay there.
Myślę, że środkowe też będą.
I think the middle ones will be okay too.
Zbieg okoliczności?
Coincidence?
Że akurat
I don't think
gdzie nie ma
so.
kompresji.
That it's right here where there's no compression? I don't think so.
Ale wiesz, w sumie jak nie ma kompresji, to powinno...
But if there's no compression, it should run smoother, right?
No tutaj zaczął się przycierać. No bo
Well,
on
it
teraz
started
zaczął
to rub
chodzić,
here because now it
zaczął
started to lose
ciśnienie.
pressure.
Czego ta panewka?
Which cylinder is this bearing from? From the first?
No to ładna...
From the fourth?
Tak, ale
From the fourth?
wiesz, po tym, co
Well,
mi
it's
się
not
wydarzyło,
pretty.
No to nie oszukujmy się,
Yes.
ciśnienie oleju.
But you know, after what happened here, let's not kid ourselves. The oil pressure went. The car didn't stop in 10 seconds. Someone was driving for a while, maybe listening to loud music. I don't know. He was driving.
Czy to jest najgorszy silnik diesla, jaki
Is this the worst diesel engine you can get?
No wszystkich wiem, że nie znacie. Ale jeżeli
I know you don't know everyone, but if we're talking about failures under 100,000 kilometers in a diesel, then something's seriously wrong, right?
Znaczy z tego co wiem...
I mean,
to
from
nie
what I know,
było-
it's not only Land Rover that has weak engines.
Nie, to
I know.
Nie, to zaraz z BMW będziemy mieli też...
We'll soon have some interesting material with BMW, I hope.
Tu masakra, masakra.
But this is just a disaster. Well, it is.
Najgorsze
The
jest
worst
to,
thing is
że
if it was a
będą
cheap
tanie.
car, right? Well, damn it, I paid cheap for the car. Well, it is what it is.
No jest jaki jest. Ale ten
But this
samochód,
car-
nie oszukujmy się, kosztuje
Let's not kid ourselves,
duże
costs
pieniądze.
a lot of money.
Ale popatrz na to inaczej, bo to jest fura
Łukasz,
za
but look at it
250
differently.
złotych, powiedzmy,
Because this is a
nie?
car for
Czyli to byłby
60,000
auto za
euros,
50
let's say, right?
tysięcy, a silnik, naprawa 10-20, to by miało...
If it was a car for 10,000 and the engine repair 5,000 euros, it wouldn't make sense.
No to chyba jest większy sens, nie?
And if you have a car for 60,000, the engine repair 5,000 euros, well, it makes more sense, right?
Samochód łatwiej przełknąć
Okay,
to, że on
but
jest...
damn, a cheap car is easier to swallow than it is. I won't say what it is made of, right? Well, but this is a British car. We know what it is made of. Where is British, right? Made in India everywhere, made in China.
To już jest, no...
Let's do a section of this, right?
Tego jeszcze, nie?
I'll loosen the connecting rod cup.
Dobra, to ty luzuj stopy.
Okay, do that and I'll follow Łukasz.
Który to jest rocznik?
What year is it?
17.
2017.
Nie, wiesz dlaczego patrzę? Bo
Don't know why I'm looking?
że
Because are you sure it's the original
to
engine?
jest oryginalny silnik w nim.
Okej. Czy już raz nie był wymieniany?
Hasn't it
bo
been
taki
replaced
powiedział,
once
duży
already
przebieg,
because
tak?
the mileage is suspiciously high? Exactly.
Nie wiem, widać?
Can you see it?
Widać. No widać. No nie, no to jest...
Well,
Nie,
that's it.
To nie jest pompa olejowa.
That's not the oil pump. That's the vacuum pump.
Tak, olejowa część to jest
This
to.
is the oil
Nie,
part.
poczekaj chwileczkę, a pokaż mi ją z tej strony.
Wait a minute, show me this
A,
side.
nie, to jest fabryczne, widzę. No ale ona jest po...
Horrible. What destroys it so
Co
much?
to tak, co ją tak załatwia?
W jednoturbinowym nie ma tego
In
problemu.
a single turbine, there is no such problem. But wait, there must be some play here, right? Because this is from the vacuum pump. Yes, it must be floating around somewhere and generating vacuum, right? There must be some play somewhere on some shaft? Who knows? Well, yes, but you see, in a single turbine, there is exactly the same pump. It is no different and they do not wear out that much there.
I tam nie zużywają
Like expansion,
gazu,
operating temperature.
tylko że tylko
A single
że
turbine
znowu
only needs vacuum for
jednoturbinowy
brakes,
tak naprawdę
for brake
vakuum
booster.
potrzebuje tylko do hamulcy, do
And
wspomagania
here?
hamulcy.
A tu?
And here turbine control and stuff like that.
Turbinami i takie tam.
So it is complicated.
Większe zapotrzebowanie.
Greater demand.
Skomplikowane jak odrzutowe.
Complicated like a
Widać jakoś
jet.
strasznie, tak?
It doesn't look terribly
Mimo, że
bad
to
here,
jest
right?
jakiś tam materiał,
Even though
nie
it's
wiem,
some kind of
coś.
material, I don't know, poly something.
A to jest w ogóle...
And this is composite, right?
Kompozyt, tak? Znaczy widzę, że...
A
The aluminum is in
w stanie
terrible
fatalnym.
condition. Okay.
Okej. A sama pompa
And the oil pump
jest-
itself? Where is part of it?
Ja to porozsypywałem.
I scattered it a bit because
Bo mówię, nie
we don't
montujemy
install used
tego
ones at all
używanych,
because it
to
doesn't make the
nie
slightest
ma
sense.
najmniejszego sensu.
We just throw it in the scrapyard.
Mamy to w złom. No jest porysowana, bo siłą rzeczy
Well,
będzie.
it's scratched,
no też
because
nie
it will
myślę,
be.
że ona będzie w stanie...
And let's not kid ourselves that it will be in perfect condition, especially since metal chips and filings have started circulating. But I don't know if it's not some kind of habit here from your job
z tej twojej roboty, że masz takie
that
niskie
you have such
oczekiwania
low expectations of
względem
components
zespołu,
that 100,000, well, worn out, well, that's how it can be, right? I've seen worse, but
Łukasz, to nie jest kurde normalne.
Łukasz, this is not normal, damn it.
Pompa oleju
But
też
you see,
musi
the oil
się
pump
do
also wears out these plates.
to będzie
I
zobaczyć,
don't know, it'll be hard to see, right?
że
That plate where it
gdzie
walks on the
po
ring.
pierścieniu chodzi,
Nie,
ta
widać.
płytka,
You can see it, you can see it.
ona się zużywa. Automatycznie
It wears out.
płytki
The plates
się
automatically move away from the wall, and the oil pressure will be lower and lower.
jest niższe.
Maybe more on this one?
Nie, no to
Same thing.
samo.
To jeszcze tak, jakby ktoś nie wiedział. To jest panewka główna.
This is the main bearing, main bearing, main bearing, main bearing, main bearing,
Panewka główna.
connecting rod bearing, connecting rod bearing, connecting rod bearing, and this is where that terrible thing happened.
Na tej wydarzyła się ta straszna rzecz.
The shaft didn't break.
No tutaj dalej
Well, you
masz-
can't see the massacre here, right?
Nie, no bo nie miało...
No, because there wasn't much to damage here.
Często też
Balance shafts often cause problems too.
stwarzają problemy.
What kind?
Samochód zaczyna
The car starts to whistle,
Okej.
like something from the exhaust somewhere, and these are the bearings on the balance shafts.
łożyska na wałkach
Aha,
balansujących.
łożyska.
Bearings are also failure prone.
Dosyć awaryjny.
Well, if a bearing like that got in here somewhere,
To by było niefajnie. Co będziesz wyjmował? Korby
That would be
będziesz-
bad.
tłoki będziesz wy...
what are you going to take out? Pistons? I just wanted to show you those rings we talked about.
Rozmawialiśmy.
Does a normal ring behave like that? You laughed when I said you could braid them.
Można z nich upleść.
Śmiałem.
I laughed.
Ja. Ach, i to jest ten...
Oh, and this is the oil one, right? That's a joke.
Śmiech na sali, nie? On powinien pstryknąć,
Isn't
powinno
it?
nie być.
It should click and it shouldn't be there.
Jak on ma zachować
How is
swoje
it supposed to stay elastic? And I understand that this is something that you are fixing,
Wsadzacie coś
putting in something normal.
normalnego, tak?
Mogę powiedzieć,
Can I say what company? What car?
Czy z jakiego samochodu?
Yes.
Tak? Z Mercedesa.
Mercedes.
Okej.
And which one?
Znaczy,
Diesel?
to- nie,
Something like that?
Coś takiego?
Let's not go too crazy.
Nie szalejmy
Okay.
za dużo.
Dobrze.
Gentlemen, I'll leave you then.
To ja was
Thank you very
zostawiam w
kindly.
takim razie. Bardzo
Very
uprzejmie
interesting.
wam
Not for you because it's everyday life for you. For me, it's very interesting.
Ciekawe. Nie dla was. No, u was to codzienność. Dla mnie to bardzo
A very
ciekawa,
interesting experience.
Bardzo ciekawe przeżycie rozebrania silnika dwulitrowego.
Disassembling a 2-liter diesel engine from Jaguars, Land Rovers, small Range Rovers.
Rowerów małych.
Don't buy it.
Tego, nie?
Nie,
No,
kurwa,
buy.
bo
Because we won't have anything to do.
co
What will we
będziemy
do?
robić?
Grow mushrooms if necessary.
Panowie, bardzo
Gentlemen,
dziękuję.
thank you very much.
Do zobaczenia.
See you soon. All the best.